So again, I got this message from somebody who's in Playful Prosperity right now. She's consuming all the bonus content and the bonus trainings that are in there, and there's some really cool stuff in there. And she messaged me and she said, I'm feeling so many shifts and I'm feeling like, things are really happening for me. And she goes, but at the same time, I feel like this. And then she sent me this adorable little meme of Buzz Lightyear on a treadmill. And so I immediately, of course, know, not because I'm smart, but you all know what that means. It's feeling like things aren't happening fast enough, feeling like you're on a treadmill, right? And I have definitely felt this way before, especially as an entrepreneur, where, you put in your blood, sweat, and tears and you're working a ton. And especially if you're a serious entrepreneur like I was for so many years before I discovered this realization that I can actually be less serious and be more successful. But we know what that feels like. I mean, we really, really know what that feels like, to feel like you're putting in so much work and so much effort and feel like you're not making any forward progress. So let me kind of go back now to my story about this person who reached out to me and said she felt like she was on a treadmill. And I get that. I know what it feels like to feel like you're not making progress. And in that moment when she said that, I kind of sat for a second with that, because I know what it feels like. I mean, I know exactly what it feels like. And I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? I think there's a different way to look at this. I really do. And the way to look at this instead is that you're actually not on a treadmill when you think things aren't happening fast enough. Because that's what she was saying, right? When you're on a treadmill, it's like you're taking the steps, but nothing's happening. And it's the way we're relating to the timeline of what it is we want to create, right? It's how we're relating. It's not the timeline itself. It's how we're relating to the timeline. For example, if I was paid $100,000 to drag out what would normally take me a week into 6 weeks, then all of a sudden the way I relate to a timeline is all different than if I have this thought in my head that something that should take 6 weeks has to be done in 1. Right? It's the way I relate to the timeline. It's not the timeline itself. And that's maybe going too deep for a quick Facebook Live, but it's the way we relate to time and the way we relate to progress that either has us feeling stressed and debilitated, or peaceful and having fun and being playful, right? So the analogy that came in my head is that she's not on a treadmill. Nia, what's up? Great to see you. She's not on a treadmill. She's on an airplane. And she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, think about this. When you're sitting on a seat in an airplane, 30,000 feet in the air, going 300, 400, 500, 600 miles an hour, it feels like you aren't going anywhere. And it's not just inside the airplane you feel this way. If you open your shade and look out, it feels like you are going 5 miles an hour. But you're making such progress. You're going 500 miles an hour. It just doesn't feel like it. And you watch a movie, you eat some peanuts, you read a book, you do a little work, and all of a sudden, you're in California from North Carolina. A 5-hour trip, boom, it's done, right? But it doesn't feel like that in the moment. It doesn't feel like you're making progress in the moment, but you are. And here's the thing. Beyond that analogy, and I hope that analogy is helpful for you, but there's something beyond the analogy. So forward motion on a plane doesn't feel like you're going very fast, but you're actually going 500 miles an hour. And what I further realized as we were talking back and forth about this is that the number one way to slow down your progress, to slow down your forward motion is this. It's to think that you're not having enough forward motion. The moment you judge the amount of forward motion you are taking, you immediately take away the energy and the creativity and the spirit and the playfulness and the joy of being in action to manage your feelings about not being in enough action. I mean, do you see, it sounds, I know I'm onto something when I say something and it sounds ridiculous to me. So that sounds ridiculous to me. I know how I'm gonna move forward faster. I'm gonna judge the shit out of myself for not moving fast enough. Think about that. So when we stop judging our forward motion, when we stop judging that the plane isn't moving as fast as we think it should, the fucking plane's gonna get to where it needs to get, and it's gonna get there perfectly on time, give or take 5 or 10 minutes. It's gonna get there perfectly on time, and there is nothing more that you could do to make it go any faster. So why not enjoy the ride? Why not have fun? Why not know that you're safe, you're taken care of, you are moving forward, you're getting closer to your destination with every second, and do everything you can with your creative energy to maximize the time when you're in that. right? Not to think about what's happening in the future or not happening in the future. Not to judge the amount of forward motion you have right now, but instead to be so grateful that you have a sound mind and body to actually move forward.